Previously on Chop Cut Rebuild.
Motorcycle parts arrived yesterday from our Daytona campus. They are building a retro 70s style chopper. Shane was actually won my custom paint competition that I do here on campus.
When Dan showed up today, I was inspecting the rear glass for the Daytona, and this is a really special piece of glass. No one in the industry has made anything like this. It's a limited run of the car, so we don't plan on selling a ton of this glass, but it is available for those consumers out there.
Today we planned on skinning the outer car, installing the doors, the quarter panels, the roof skin, the back glass panel, and the taillight panel.
When we install the quarters, we like to put glue on the C-pillar so it goes into the drip rail, and we use our tech screws to line it up for a back glass.
You won't need any epoxy to stick around for this episode of Chop Cut Rebuild.
This is Chop Cut Rebuild. Real cars. Real techs. Real deadlines. Hosted by Dan Woods. Chop Cut Rebuild.
Our WyoTech students' primary focus this season is to modify a Ford Transit van, but taking a break in Daytona Beach should be part of every student's education.
Hey, Lee. How are you?
How you been?
Good.
My name is Lee Florin. I work at WyoTech Daytona. I'm the engines instructor here. When Dan showed up today, he brought us a nice present. WyoTech of Blairsville redid our seat.
Yeah, you like that?
I like that touch.
Yeah, I do good work. You know, I got a reputation of making other people do my work.
Well, we just started assembling the motorcycle. We wanted to see how everything was going to fit on it.
I am so glad that I spent the extra money on...
Oh, you got your Google eyes, huh?
Yeah, I got the budget bumped up this year for glasses. Nice ones, huh?
My name's Robert Myers, and I'm currently taking domestic motorcycles. We just got the bike back from paint, so we started to mock it up just to make sure all the parts were going to fit right.
We're in the reassembly stage at this point. We have a lot of new parts.
Now, you made this.
Yep, it's still a work in progress. We just need to see how it fits now that we got all the paint back. We're doing the sissy bar now, which is kind of a focal point of the motorcycle. It's a real important part of the build. Back then in the 70s, bigger the sissy bar, the cooler you were. When we decided it's time to bolt the sissy bar in and incorporate it with the rear fender, we just found that when it was being welded, we had some slag in one of the holes, bolt didn't fit through it. So just get in there with a Dremel, clean it up a little bit.
This whole thing's a big learning experience, right?
Yeah. Trial and error.
Trial and error. Mostly error on my part.
My name's Andrew Wilkins, and I'm taking domestic motorcycles. When we were putting the rear wheel on, it's not much of a challenge. Like we had 3 people, so one could hold the tire, we could get our axle in and get everything set up right.
Once we got the back end of the motorcycle assembled, it was time to put the motor in. We had to protect the frame before we put the engine in, so we put layers of duct tape over all the painted surfaces that surround the engine. It's a 200-pound engine, so it's pretty hard to maneuver.
We had one of the case bolts was sticking out a little too far, so we had to pull the motor back out of the frame, change out the bolt, and then get it back in the frame for it to sit proper in the frame and the mounts. With the Ironhead being a unit construction, you got the engine and the transmission all in one case, so it's extremely heavy. I mean, it took 2 of us, struggled a little bit doing it.
They got it in, they struggled. I seen a little sweat on their brow, but they got it in and bolted up without making a scratch. When installing the seat, a couple adjustments we had to make. It's a little tight here, don't fit the frame too good, so we got to spread this a little bit. And then the rear mounting hole is covered.
The first rule of Upholstery Club is never talk about running with scissors.
When I finally got to look at the seat, it was pretty impressive. I didn't realize it was going to be two-tone. They got silver inlay in it, which matches the frame. It's tufted just like they did it back in the 70s. Sharing this build with the students is pretty rewarding. They see it done, they see it on TV, they read the magazines, and now they're actually doing it.
So that covers what over there?
That's your cam covers.
Cam covers, and this covers?
That's your primary clutch.
The primary clutch cover.
Primary clutch cover, yep.
Okay, and this covers me to go into a commercial break.
Oh, see it.
This portion of Chop Cut Rebuild is brought to you by AMD, Auto Metal Direct. The name says it all. Shell collectors love Florida beaches, and we're about to find a 1969 Camaro shell here.
Normally, our builders are not put under a serious time crunch this early in the process. But normally, we work on cars that have been down an assembly line, not built by hand in Sanford, Florida by Real Deal Steel. Welcome to the new normal. How are you?
Morning, Dan.
Good. It must be Saturday. You're not in the office writing checks.
Yeah. My name is Joe Whitaker, co-owner of Real Deal Steel. We've really enjoyed working with Dan and the guys. It's good exposure for us. It lets us showcase what we do here.
Where are we at? I mean, we're at the last day, right?
You guys almost have a 69 Camaro here.
All right, so what should we do first?
We're going to take the fixture out.
That comes out first, okay.
First thing.
All right.
My name is Mike Vineyard, and I assemble the Camaro bodies.
What do you want me to do first?
Okay, we can take these 4 bolts up front here out.
Okay.
And we can take the windshield fixture out. We made sure that we made our fixtures to go in these cars so that when we go to take them apart, they can go out piece by piece so we don't do any damage to any of the car that's already been done.
Having the car in a combination rotisserie and lift gives Mike complete access to every part of the car. This isn't the kind of job you want to do on axle stands.
Now we're going to weld the trunk drop-offs to the wheel tub,
Okay.
the trunk drop-off to the quarter, and it will come down the taillight panel.
Okay.
We made Dan get in the trunk to do a little bit of spot welding. So as once the fixture was out, you're able to reach all around the back glass opening and be able to spot weld about 7/8 to 1 inch apart for a gap. And it turned out really good.
Making sparks fly is without any doubt one of the most rewarding parts of the process. There's just something very cool about the power of melting metal.
Since this car isn't going to be finished, meaning it's not going to be body worked, primed, and painted, it's going to be displayed in bare steel, we couldn't leave any fudging to the body man. There will be no filler in this car, so we had to spend a little bit more time than usual gapping this car to make sure that it looks good at the door like it is.
After we messed with the deck lid for a couple minutes, we were able to achieve a nice about 3/16 gap all the way around the trunk lid and the quarters. We found we have a new method on getting a good gap for the trunk lid, especially around the front of the trunk. Instead of taking a 2-pound sledge and a block of wood and hammering down and creating dents, we like to open it up and pull on it with our hands, nice and gentle. Randy and I installed the dash. We centered it up left to right. It takes about a 1/4 inch on each side of the A-pillars.
My name is Randy Irwin, and I am one of the co-owners of Real Deal Steel in Sanford, Florida. This build has been great. 69 Camaro, tubbed out car, one of our favorite cars. Building with AMD and Dan coming, it's just a lot of fun having somebody else in the shop.
I'm very happy with the way this car turned out. We put everything we had into this car, so I always have the confidence that we get our cars done with the extra quality that we can.
The way we pick up a Camaro is by bolting eye bolts to the rear seatbelt mounts and the front seatbelt mounts and the rockers. Then we use a 3/8 chain with hooks on the end, hook it on one of the forks on the forklift, and pick it up.
My name is Alex Waltz. I'm a metal fabricator at Real Deal Steel, and I drive the forklift. It's a little nerve-wracking having an audience lifting a very expensive piece of merchandise over the concrete, but we've done it enough times that we've got to work down to a science. We can do it quickly without many mishaps.
A week ago, this car arrived here in pieces on a pallet. Now it's leaving as a 69 Camaro on a pallet. Where would this country be without pallets?
You're watching Chop Cut Rebuild.
Hey, Wesley.
Good morning, Dan. How you doing?
Good. What's all this?
I'm Wesley Kennedy, and I work here at AMD Installation Center as a lead car builder. Before Dan arrived today, I was setting the table up, getting ready to build on.
Well, I brought all this stuff. Is there anybody else here? Is it just me?
Just you and me.
Oh, no, that's not going to last. Hang on.
And we had a truck come in with a load of parts, so he called a couple of guys from the warehouse to come up and help us.
Hey, guys. Morning. Wow, that was fast. How are you? Good. How about you? Good. Good.
My name is Aaron Hopkins. I work for Auto Metal Direct, and I'm our technical service rep.
My name is Dustin Goodwin, and I handle the customer counter. What was cool about coming down here was it was just something totally different than what I'm used to. I got to get my hands a little dirty and just help out with the guys with the build.
What's the front and what's the back right here?
Okay, that's the front of it.
Yeah.
Front of the car and the back. First thing we did when we got started was got the frame rails and the torsion bar cross member into position. Dan, could you hand me those 2 bolts there?
All right.
How about if we put the frame rails on the correct side, though?
Yeah, that might be better.
So here at the installation center, they use a jig system. Basically, it replicates the bottom of the car. And we have dowel locators that we put the frame rails in place, pin it with the dowel, and that way we know it's accurate to the original specs of the car.
Our main reference points are right here where these holes are. When we can pin the hole and everything works, everything's laid out in the right place. Well, the tables are true denim lines for the car. Even if the table wasn't level, the car would still be level to the build because of the way the table's made.
So once we had located the front frame rails and the cross member, we moved to the back of the car to locate the rear frame rails. That way we had the bones of the car together, tied them together with the inner rockers, and then we had a frame of the car.
Building this Daytona has been a little different. It's a wrecked car on top of a rotten car, so it's like twice the trouble.
So Dustin, Wesley, Dan, and I, we had a really good time with this build so far. It's nice to get to the part of the project where you actually see stuff coming together.
So this is the original part off the car, but it's all pitted.
Right.
So it's not really what you would want with a quality restoration. The issue is this is the original DNA.
On the Daytona, we're not able to keep too many of the parts, mainly because of rust on one side and the wreck on the other. The only exterior part we've been able to keep is the outer rocker on the driver's side.
Balance is everything with this build. New AMD parts are available, but originals are sacred.
So we're getting it kind of mocked up into place, just to see where we're at. Got my little laser here we can turn on.
Okay.
And this will give us an idea of how level we are. You can see it right here, those holes.
Oh.
That's the level. Today was a mock buildup on the floor systems for this car. This car is so far apart and has so many pieces to it. I want to make sure everything goes together good, and I got a good feel for it today, the way it went together.
Craig and Ted want to make sure that as much of the original car is used as possible, right?
Right.
So it's about keeping that DNA. The rails, the front rails are original.
Original, shock towers, bracket.
This is all new metal from AMD.
Firewall and this whole floor system.
Okay, this rocker is
original to the Daytona.
But that one's not.
That one's not.
So really, Ted's car ends here.
Pretty much.
There's nothing that's old from their back.
Well, just a few little pieces they're trying to salvage.
Oh, those, okay. So these have been down an assembly line. Well, no, this one piece hasn't been, I'm sure of it.
This portion of Chop Cut Rebuild is presented by Wyotech. Make your passion your career. Turn pro at Wyotech.
It's our last day here at the Daytona campus. After this, the bike will be torn apart and then reassembled and shipped to Blairsville. That means I'm going to be moving from 2 wheels to 4 wheels and then probably snow tires.
Makes a nice clean installation, and it's going to work out, I think, pretty well.
What did I miss?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. Good. How are you?
Yeah, for your collection.
Oh, we raised the budget on these. I keep getting a new set every time. What do we start on?
Well, let's slide the forks up. Maybe these guys can give you a hand.
Okay.
So today when Dan came in, we was getting ready to put the front end on the bike. And with it being a Springer, and as long as it is, it's just a heavy, awkward piece of the bike to put on. So we had 2 or 3 people helping with that. I was helping with that.
That front end is period piece. It was built in the 70s. It needs to be redone, but it really made the look of the bike. We have to do a mock-up on the bike to make sure that the parts are going to fit. A lot of the parts aren't made for this motorcycle, so we have to fabricate pieces to make them fit.
In the middle here, we got a little bit of rust.
We've got some surface rust there, but these spool wheels, these with the small hubs,
yeah,
they're getting really hard to get.
Okay.
All right, so we got to just refurbish.
My dad used to give me a little piece of leather strap from his old belt, and he would to pinch it in there and let it ride in there the whole time, right?
Keep it shiny and clean.
Yeah. I guess whoever had this wheel didn't know my dad.
Back in the 70s, even early 60s, when you built a bike like this, you either fabricated the parts yourself, or there were certain specialty companies that made custom parts.
After we got the forks put on, we started putting the handlebars on, which these aren't the bars that we're going to use in the final construction. They were just there to help us maneuver the bike around as a roll.
Now, you don't want to use the handlebars that you originally found on it, though.
No, we're going to go more period.
Shorties. Tight.
Well, rabbit ears.
Rabbit ears.
About this stance.
Okay.
Really difficult to ride.
Okay, yeah, so let's make it, why make it easy to ride? Because I might have to do it.
Right. The better looking we make this thing, the harder it's going to be to ride.
My name is Ryan Morrison. I've done the motorcycle program and currently in the Marine program. We didn't have a headlight bracket for that Springer front end, so we had to make one ourselves. We grabbed a piece of 1-inch flat steel and we took it over to the vise and heated it up and then bent it into the angles we needed for the headlight assembly.
That's what we call a 1-2-5 job.
What's a 1-2-5 job?
We leave steps 3 and 4 out.
Still
comes out. We wind up with.
Well, that's looking a lot closer to what we're going to have as a finished product. With parts able to be reused, we'll tap our friends at Advanced Chrome Plating in Tennessee to refurbish them to look new again.
The concept of this bike is pretty much coming out the way I would like it. When I was a kid, in 1970, working in a gas station, there was a group of bikers who used to come in all the time and hang out. And this is exactly what they wrote. You know, this is a very skinny motorcycle. It looks awkward, but once you sit on it, it's actually a comfortable seating position.
From the concept we have now, we was going 70s, and it's straight 70s. Not my time period, but it looks good. It's got this tall sissy bar, the raked out front end. It looks like it needs to look.
Yeah, we know it's a pusher right now, but once we get all the chrome done, it's going to add another 10 horsepower.
Many business owners use their company to help get them to the track. Few, if any, use the track to create a company. Not Justin Peck. Justin's developed products for the track. A fitness coach and professional bodybuilder, Justin began creating nutritional products called Gear 49, specifically formulated to increase focus and energy. They're meant to improve a driver's stamina and reaction time.
Not everyone in the chop cut world wrenches to show. Sometimes there's people out there that like to wrench to go.
My name is Justin Peck, owner of Race Pro Technologies and professional race car driver.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, that's Dylan.
How are you? Man, you guys start early here, I'll tell you that.
What are you drinking?
But the usual juice, right?
No, man, that's just not the right stuff. No. No.
This?
No, that's what you drink in the morning.
Oh,
brother.
we're at the sponsor part of the show.
Sponsor part.
That's stuff?
Yeah, that's
all right. This is the morning juice.
That's the morning juice right there.
And it tastes good.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's nice.
Yeah.
With Gear 49, it really has helped my focus on the track. I'm able to see clear. I call it HD vision. The supplement has been an amazing part of at least my progression.
This is good. Might actually help me focus.
Personally, I've been a huge fan of Chop Cut and Rebuild. I mean, it's been on, if I remember right, like 10 or 12 seasons or something. So it's been around a long time, and I've watched it for forever. So to get the opportunity to have Dan Woods come down and be part of our team is incredible.
Okay, all right. So when I come through, like what point could you actually take your hands off the wheel?
No. Time.
Really?
You don't ever want to take your hand off.
While there is some showmanship in off-road racing, there's no showboating during the race.
Dan's a stud. Like he showed up. I mean, he was willing to jump right in. He has great knowledge in cars and kind of what we did, and so to be able to have his hands in there with us was a good time.
Justin's become more than a driver. He's a team owner sponsoring other drivers on the circuit.
Going over the jumps and having the air and the flow that we get through it, I hit one of the jumps and the whole hood just ripped off.
On the track, there's no love lost between his drivers. Plenty of body panels are lost, though.
There's a couple of other pieces out there. If you really want them, I can get them.
No, we're all right.
How many of those do you go through in a year?
About 2 a weekend, typically.
Really?
Yeah. So we try to stay out of the other trucks, but I mean, there's just so many people on track.
You're single-handedly keeping the fiberglass industry alive.
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah, my guy loves me.
So you're going to need a belt.
Yes, we need a belt.
And this will take the tension off.
We need the 1/2 inch.
And this will help you with your focus.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I was looking. So.
My name's Nick Holkman. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. 23 years old. What we just fixed was a belt. We just threw a belt on the truck. If you don't put it on in just the right spot, then it's not going to go on correctly. So I slid it over the water pump.
No love on the track does not mean no help in the pits. This is a family.
If that was my wife's car, I would have said, that's fine for a while.
Yeah, you're good. Just run it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Call me if it breaks down.
My name's Sam Baird. I race Open V8, and I'm from Bountiful, Utah. I took some Gear 49 before the race, some turbo, and kept me pumped for the race and kept me focused for sure. First place, baby.
To be able to hang out with the friends is always good too. I mean, I have my team, it's an amazing team, and to be able to see those guys at the shop, we work all day, we work really hard, and then when we have the opportunity to go to the track, it's great. I mean, we're all basically brother in arms.
A lot of stuff is still on the truck.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts that are missing too. So tomorrow at the shop, we'll put a lot of it back together and get this truck back running.
At your shop?
Yeah, at our shop. You want to come?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow, perfect. Well, let's get this thing loaded, man,
Okay.
and we'll go.
I don't think we can ever use the hood again.
No, we're not gonna using the hood.
On the next Chop, Cut, Rebuild.
One of the high points for me was watching Ted actually shoot welds into his own car. He had an opportunity to do something that very few people do. He welded his own car together.
The HushMat Ultra sound and thermal barrier material really serves two purposes. It reduces noise inside the vehicle by up to 50%. It also reduces heat from the vehicle up to 70%.
On the trophy truck, we got everything back together. We actually thought we were good to go test the truck. And then when we took it off the jack stands, we noticed there was a lot of shock fluid out of the passenger side coilover.
Get coiled up for the next episode of Chop, Cut, Rebuild.